Alcohol nearly ruined my life. I had a friend that I used to game with in my teens, late teens, and he used to be a heavy drinker. He would drink all the time. I would hear him on the mic slurring. He would fall asleep midway through a game, and he was my best friend. I never drank before, never touched alcohol in my teens. And seeing my best friend having those effects and the negativities of it, didn't entice me to drinking. I knew the cons of it. After I moved out of foster care, I moved into my first house, and 2 years into the relationship with my partner, she starts drinking. Whether to attention seek or people please or try to fit in, she starts drinking heavy. So there's two people in my life who are very involved in my life that are drinking. She orders a bunch of Pimm's, vodka, uses my money to buy alcohol at mine, and it peer pressures me into drinking. And I'm already struggling with trauma and depression and the baggage I had after foster care, dealing with all that and moving into a house alone and doing it up and trying to figure myself out. So I start drinking just to try it out. Then I get sick and it fucks me up. So I'm like, oh, I'm never gonna touch it again. Oh. But then I get used to it because she starts drinking, she peer pressures me into drinking. I start drinking, even though I don't like it. And then my friend drinking all the time. I'm just surrounded by it. Fast forward, my mother passes away. And that took a toll on me. Then I really started coping with drinking. I started using it and abusing it because I couldn't cope with my feelings. I couldn't cope with the severe depression. I couldn't cope with knowing my mother passed. Blaming myself every day for her death. So I just kept drinking and drinking and drinking. My partner drinking and drinking and drinking. I'm vomiting every day. I feel sick every day. I'm in the bed spinning. I wake up out of the bed hungover, throwing up after I wake up, and then I just go back to drinking again and again and again. And impulsively buying alcohol in the corner shop or wherever I go, just going straight to that section. Alcohol became my life. It became my cope. I started living at the bottom of a bottle. Then I start trying to make some changes. I was trying to cut it out of my life, but then I couldn't let go. I tell my partner I don't want to drink anymore. And she's like, okay. But then, she invites me to little things with gatherings with people and they're drinking, and then I'm the odd one out not drinking. So I'm like, oh, a drink shouldn't hurt, even though I didn't want to drink. It's a touchy subject for me. I didn't want to drink, but I felt like I had to fit in a little bit because everyone else is drinking. They're all having a good time. They're giving me weird looks. The relationship starts to get shaky. Not long after she dumps me. And then we're still friends after that. And then she starts changing. She starts becoming somebody I don't recognize. She drinks and drinks and drinks and drinks and uses my money because I was a pushover. I'd allow it. And at this point, I'm trying to cut it out. But then she's peer pressuring, like, oh, just drink some with me. And I'm telling her I really don't want to drink. and then I give in. You know, fast forward, I start cutting out people. I cut out my friend, my best friend, because I couldn't be around him anymore. His destructiveness starts creeping in onto my life. When you surround yourself with people that drink or abuse or have some type of addiction that you're trying to get away from, it starts to rub off on you and you gotta get away. You gotta get away. These people just wanna like drag you down with them. And they'll make you feel weird or make you feel like you're not fun or anything. So I cut him out. I'm still friends with my ex. Slowly but surely I cut her out of my life because I can't be around that. And I cut out my old friend group because, you know, they'd always want me to go to the pub or some shit, or they're always doing something. And I got sick of it. And I'm slowly cutting it out of my life. I'm being alone, you know. And now that when I'm alone, and when you're alone, you can really work on these inner problems you have deep inside, whether it's alcohol or any substance abuse or any type of drugs, anything that you're addicted to. You cut it out. But I've had relapses. One time I took a sip of wine, you know, I went straight to the alcohol section and it was out of impulse. I bought it. I didn't really want to drink, but I bought it out of impulse. I don't know why I did. I took a sip of wine and I started crying. I started crying like crazy because I felt so ashamed. I felt so ashamed of what I'm doing to myself. So I call up my father. I'm like, Dad, I did a bad thing. And he's like, it's okay, you know, you only had a sip. It's, you know, it's not like you're drinking heavily anymore. But it has a hold of me. Like, I want to drink a lot of the time. Not so much anymore, but when I was really quitting it, I would look at the alcohol that you see behind the cashier, the guy behind the till, the register, and you're just seeing rows and rows of things that possessed you, and it makes you sick. And everywhere you go, it's just in your face. It just entices you. And then I didn't drink for a few months again, and then I felt really low. I just couldn't cope with my emotions, and then also just when you're not drinking, you start having withdrawal symptoms where you can't get that habit out of your system. You can't get that habit out. So you go straight back to buying alcohol again and down in the whole damn thing, and your head is spinning and spinning and spinning, and you feel sick, but you numbed the pain. You numbed what you can't cope with. And then I call up my brother on the phone. I'm telling him, I'm drunk as shit. And he's like telling me, yo, like just drink some water and shit, go to bed or something. And I'm like, oh, I feel real good. I woke up then like a few hours later, threw up my entire fucking insides out. Blood came out my fucking neck because I was like throwing up so much strain on my neck. And then that's when I knew, like, I'm done. Like, I'm done with drinking. Like, just knowing who I surrounded myself with just adds to it. You know, that's why you gotta cut out people that you gotta sacrifice some friends who are drinkers, or maybe they're not heavy drinkers, but they always love to just keep telling you, hey, have a drink with us, have a drink with us. And they know you don't want to drink. You need to cut those people out. Because when you're surrounded by that type of environment and you're surrounded by toxic habits, it takes you back to square one. and it destroys your life. It consumes your life, and it consumes others. It consumes other people's lives, especially your loved ones. And like, if you are like dating somebody, how are you gonna do anything for your partner? You're drunk out of your mind, your brain is mush, you feel like shit, you're not functioning, you throw up every day, and you just keep grabbing a bottle, your pocket's empty, your bank account's empty because all you do is spend it on alcohol. Do you not think your loved one is suffering too because of this addiction? You know, when I moved into my first house, I couldn't, work on myself, to find a job because I was coping with my depression and suffrage, like the things I'm suffering with internally and the trauma and the baggage. And then alcohol just really fucked it up even more. So you can't even work on yourself. You can't even find a career that you want to work towards. You can't even get a job because you're so drunk out your fucking mind. You can't even go to the job. You can't even start a shift. You can't even go to the interview without being pissed out of your mind. So if you're watching this and you're someone that's dealing with this type of shit, don't date anybody. Cut out people that fucking add on to the fucking thing, like egg it on, because it will ruin your life. It nearly ruined mine. And alcohol is like the worst poison on earth, and it's a legal one. It's legal. They'll tell you other things, like the government will tell you, oh, these drugs are illegal, these are illegal. But it's okay to have literal poison on the shelves everywhere you go. It's just as destructive as anything. So to take away from this, what to take away from this, I mean, if you're someone who's struggling with alcoholism, it's an internal thing. You gotta put the drink down. You gotta fucking get rid of it. Because it's gonna destroy you, it's gonna consume your life, and it's gonna consume others, and it's gonna consume your loved ones, your partner, whether it's your family, people that you really care about. They're seeing you suffer and it's making them suffer. And I'm not trying to guilt trip you, but it's just the cold truth. And you gotta quit cold turkey because it'll make your life better. And if not, just do it gradually. Cut it out, like bit by bit, incrementally until you don't want to drink anymore. You gotta outweigh the cons, like what's the pros of this? Oh, drinking makes me feel numb, drinking makes me feel good. But then the cons of it is it ruins your life. Your pockets are empty. It makes you feel like shit. You throw up every day. You're in your own vomit in your bed. You don't even remember throwing up. You lose your fucking memory because you black out. And you're surrounded by other degenerates who keep egging it on and shit and demonize you when you want to quit that. And if you're in a relationship now, like you gotta work on it. And if you're not in a relationship, you're actually even better off because don't date anybody when you're like this. It's with any addiction. Do you think you're gonna be well enough to date somebody, but then you're pissed out your mind every day? They're gonna leave. They're not even gonna want to be with you. That's just the cold truth. Because you haven't worked on yourself. You haven't worked on yourself internally. You haven't worked on what is fucking you up deep inside. You haven't looked deep enough. But you keep picking up the bottle because you feel like it helps. It's not helping. It's ruining your life. You're not going to have a future with it. The future is just going to be the exact same. You're just going to be drunk at this age, and you're going to be drunk 20 years later. You can't be a successful drunk. You can't be a successful drunk. Successful people are never drunk. They keep that shit at control if they do like drinking, but most of them don't. Most of them don't even have a lot of vices. Maybe they'll have one or two, but they know that. Same thing with me. I've had addictions. I've quit all of them, but I still smoke cigarettes. But I'm cutting it back. You know, just you gotta work on yourself. You gotta cut it out, because it's gonna ruin your life. And you know, for me, I did it out of coping. I did it out of trauma. I did it out of peer pressure. I did it out of people pleasing. Everything. But I quit it. So you can quit too. You know? And it'll be okay if you have relapses. You know? I did. Just know it doesn't serve you anymore. You know? Don't even think about counting the days, like how many days I haven't drank. Don't think about that. Just think, I'm not an alcoholic anymore. And then you'll like, your life and your psychology will act as if you never even touched drinking. So you have no hold, it has no hold of you. You have no connection with it. But then if you're someone that's counting and counting and counting, it's lingering in your mind, and you're doing it out of fear. That's what I used to do. I used to do like, oh, it's been 50 days, I haven't drank. But I shouldn't even be thinking about it. I shouldn't even be thinking about drinking. I should be thinking about what I want to do, the productivity I want to accomplish, being productive on other things, fitness, whether that's eating healthy, working on my mind, making whatever work. I think when you count the days, it's fear talking, because you're fearing, oh, I hope I don't drink, I hope I don't drink. Just act as if you never even drank before. Act as if you never even touched it. Act as if, you know, I'm not saying pretend. You can always reflect and revisit, like, the stories of when you used to drink, but you're not a drinker anymore. That's what you got to think. I'm not an alcoholic anymore, you know, and that's how I think. I don't think, oh, I used to drink and, oh, no, dwell on it. Don't dwell on it. You know deep down it makes you feel bad. You know deep down it makes you feel bad. But yeah, just cut it out of your life, because it's gonna ruin you. It almost ruined mine. Anyway. I hope that's worth something to you with what I said. And take it as you will. But I'm just here to express my side of it, and what I went through with it, and the relapses and the back and forth and the withdrawals and just all that shit, and the people I hung around with, and just the toxic shit that comes with it when you surround yourself with any form of addiction, and you surround yourself with other people who are just as addicted, if not more, and you want to change, but they don't. You gotta cut out people that don't want change. They do not serve you anymore. Anyway, that's about it. Thank you for listening, and I hope it helped you. D. Out.